Hello everyone, my name is Meghan LeVota and today I'm going to be talking with you guys about the cycle of emotional burnout and how to avoid it. I'm super excited about this video because I'm going to be trying out a new format where those of you who come to my channel for Myers-Briggs, socionics, and all that sort of stuff, I'm actually going to leave that to the end of the video. So I'm going to explain the behavioral pattern as I've seen it. And then toward the end of the video, I'm going to explain how I think that this ties into certain types and how certain types might have a different time or whatever with this cycle. So yeah, the cycle of emotional burnout happens when a person does not fill up their cup and is more focused on filling up other people's cups to the point where they burn out and then they lash out and then the cycle continues. What happens in this cycle is that the person wants so badly to do good or to be lovable or to do things that sort of, they're looking for reasons to love themselves. They will not love themselves unless they see proof in the external world that they have done something to deserve it. And it's sort of a shame and an ironic thing that happens is that when you are so focused on loving other people and looking outwardly for reasons why you're lovable, sometimes days go by where you don't find a good reason why you're lovable. And so you don't give to yourself emotionally that day. And so then it's almost like you didn't water the plant and you're wilting a little bit. So then you get a little bit weaker. And then the next day, since you didn't water your plant, you have less to give. And then so you have less reason to love yourself. And so then the next day you think, well, I don't deserve it. And so I'm going to do more so that I can find more reason to love myself. And then you fail again. If you are looking to the external world for reasons why you should love yourself, then it's this self-fulfilling prophecy where you are not watering your plant and you're instead trying to water other people's when you have absolutely nothing to give. It is detrimental when you are waiting to deserve it because you are never going to find what you're looking for externally. It's not a rational thing whether or not you deserve love. You aren't going to find the reasons, and if you continue to look for the reasons, you are going to find yourself becoming more and more an unlovable person because you're going to have nothing to give and you're going to be burnt out emotionally and you're going to lash out at others. Because what happens is when we don't give to ourselves emotionally, when our plant begins to wilt, we become weak. We become emotionally weak. And when we are emotionally weak, it is so easy to be reactive. And it is so easy to take your pain out on other people. So if we can start to see that being emotionally weak is a problem, then we can start to solve that problem and say, I don't want to be emotionally weak because I've noticed, if you can look from a bird's eye view at this problem and say, I've noticed that I lash out at people whenever I feel emotionally weak, then the rational thing becomes, I should love myself because I don't want to lash out at people. I should love myself even when I don't deserve it. Because if you don't love yourself, you're never going to deserve it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't decide to love yourself, you will absolutely never deserve it. And the only way to stop the cycle is to just decide that you deserve it. And the more you keep looking outwardly, you're going to burn yourself out even more, and you're going to become more and more and more emotionally weak. And that's when you're going to find yourself turning into a person that you don't want to be. And I've seen this cycle in myself. I've seen this in my loved ones, my family, my friends, and I've seen this to an extreme extent in the media that we watch today. And you know, I think it's a very human problem, and I think that a lot of people can relate to this. And if you relate to being in this cycle, please let me know and comment below. And I empathize with it, because I think that people that are stuck in this cycle where they do things that make themselves emotionally weak, I don't know if they realize that it's like you're trying to be rational. You're trying to not be selfish. You're trying to be a good person. But you are not giving yourself the tools and the resources to be a good person. And I don't know if many people realize the irony of that, is that you can't be a good person without the resources, and that you're not wrong. You're not bad for lashing out when you don't have the resources. That does not reflect on you. It does not reflect on your soul. It reflects on your choices. And so, yes, you should be taking responsibility for that, but it does not reflect on who you are deep down. If you choose to never water the plant that is you, then you won't have anything to offer anyone, and you won't have any reason, logically, why you should be loved. And I think that sometimes people will do this subconsciously, because they want their external reality to match the negativity that they feel. And so that's part of the reason why people lash out, is they feel so unlovable that then they have to do something that then matches. Then they want their external reality to match the way they feel, to give themselves more of a reason to feel the way they feel. And sometimes people lash out and they don't want to be lashing out. They just don't have the energy to maintain composure. And where do you get that energy to maintain composure? By being kind to yourself, by loving yourself. No matter what, no matter how productive you were that day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how productive you were that day. You have to love yourself in order to maintain composure, emotionally. So I think that this is something that we need to sort of out-logic ourselves in order to get past. Because if you were to approach a person like this and say, "You're lovable, here are all the reasons why," it's not going to matter, because they aren't going to take those reasons as real. So the only way to get past that cycle, whether this is you or a person you're dealing with, is to explain the way that their behavior is self-sabotage, and explain how it doesn't matter if you deserve to be loved. Explain that it is a catch-22, because it literally does not matter if you deserve love or not. And so you need to stop listening to that part of yourself that's saying that you don't deserve it. It doesn't matter. You need to love yourself anyway. Not just for you, but for the good of everyone. Love it. Whenever, for me at least, when I choose to love myself, it's out of duty to everyone around me, because I want to maintain composure. And because I've been here before. I've been in this spot where I couldn't maintain composure. So it's logical and rational to love yourself, because there's no other choice. It's no other choice if you want to avoid that spot where you become emotionally reactive and out of control and hurt the people that you love, because you don't have the energy to give them the love that you know that they deserve, even when you don't love yourself. So that is a little bit about the emotional burnout that people can face. And I guess now I would like to say, what I want to ask, what personality types came to mind whenever I was explaining that, before I even go into that. And because I was going to say that I think that this is a total FJ cycle, but any personality type can be in this cycle. I think that it is a little bit correlated to preferring FE over FI, although I do know that some FPs might also get into this cycle if they are leaning too much on their FE. I think that TJs are the least likely to be in this cycle because I think they are less likely to look externally at whether or not they deserve something emotionally. But and I think that TPs can also get in this cycle where we all this is all correlated with FE, but FE can be in your functional stack no matter what type you are. So I think that TPs in a lot of ways can relate to this, where they are looking for reasons to why they should love themselves, and TPs might more often than not have the energy to really give in an FE way. But FJs more often than not will overcommit themselves and overgive and overlove in ways where they are burning themselves out because they are loving and giving when they don't have the energy. So yeah, I think that if you are an FE user and you're in this cycle, you're going to really need to out-logic your TI that is digging at you and being very critical. And you need to realize that it doesn't matter how accurate your TI criticisms of yourself are, because at the end of the day, if you don't decide to give love to yourself, you are going to destroy the life of yourself and those around you. And it doesn't matter how accurate, like if you just did something stupid, if you just were an asshole to someone, and your TI is going, oh my gosh, I don't deserve this person, I can't believe they love me, I don't deserve any of my friends, I don't deserve X, Y, and Z, I'm stupid, I'm hateful, I'm terrible. It doesn't matter how accurate that TI is, because the more you believe that, the worse it's going to get. And so you're like digging yourself into this hole. So I think FE and TI users can really just like go into their TI and continue digging and digging and finding all these reasons why you suck. And then it's like, yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to keep sucking the more you cling onto that as true. And the only way around that is to almost use more of an FI and just say, I love myself. It doesn't matter that I did all this. I forgive myself. Like, being able to forgive yourself and love yourself despite the circumstances is a major skill, and it leads to emotional resilience. And any type can do this. I do think that I see FI users doing this a little bit more, comes a little bit more naturally, because FI is stereotypically seen as being kind of selfish, and FE is seen as being sort of overly giving. And so, as you can see, a lot of FI users might have the opposite problem, where they are sort of loving themselves all the time, even if they suck, whereas FE and TI users will get into this sort of cycle of, well, I have no reason to love myself. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve that. And then they're refusing the very fuel that they need in order to get back on their feet. So hopefully this helped some of you. I don't really have a step-by-step process of what to do aside from, at least for me, when I realize that this is happening, it becomes a lot easier to control. And when I realize it, then when I'm in that cycle, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I get it now, and it can sort of, I can feel a little bit less in it and more noticing, oh my gosh, this is just a pattern. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, I do offer life coaching and consulting, and so those links are below. And if you'd like to join my Facebook group, Personality Typology for Self-Growth, we talk all about how to use your personality type to help grow and to be the best version of you that you could possibly imagine. So thank you for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.